Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here at the Jesus Truth channel. Thank you very much for stopping by. In this video, I would like to talk to you guys about 40 archaeological facts that prove the Bible is a true historical book. If you are a Christian and already believe the Bible is true, then this video should help reinforce and strengthen your beliefs. But if you are a skeptic of the Bible, this could mean you're an atheist, an agnostic, or whatever the case may be, then please pay very close attention to what I'm about to show you. It may change your life forever. In the world we live in today, there are so many skeptics that just can't seem to accept the Bible as being a true historical book. They make comments such as, "The Bible is just some fairy tale. It's just a made-up story. It's just fiction." Or they say, "I believe in the Bible as much as I believe in Santa Claus." Or they say, "The Bible is true. Yeah, right. Like I'm going to believe in some make-believe sky daddy that's watching over us?" Or they say, "The Bible is just a book to keep you brainwashed, just like all the other religions do." These are just a few of the many negative things I have heard people say about the Bible. And let me make a very, very important point here to all the skeptics. The Bible was written by 40 different people, all selected by God. When these 40 people wrote down their parts or their sections of the Bible, they were writing down real life. They were writing down the real things that happened to them. And they were writing down the real people and the real places that they encountered. These 40 people were writing it down as facts, not fiction. The Bible is a non-fictional book that represents a true part of our history. So, when skeptics say that the Bible is just a fictional book, here's the part they are missing. A fictional writer may use some real places or real names, but the overall story is made up, and the writer knows that before he or she even begins to write the book. The 40 people who wrote the Bible didn't start their writings as a fictional story, like normal fictional writers do. This was real life to them. And the amazing thing is that these 40 people had no idea that 2,000 years later, it would be the best-selling book of all time. So, is the Bible a true historical book? Is there any proof at all? Let's get started and find out the truth together. For all the following facts, I will first show you the verse from the Bible to prove it was written. Then I will show you the actual finding, the person, the place, or the artifact from real life. Let's start with the Old Testament. Fact number 1. Pharaoh Ramesses II. This can be found in Genesis chapter 47, verse 11. Here is Ramesses II. He became an Egyptian pharaoh at the age of 30. He ruled Egypt for about 67 years. As the third Egyptian pharaoh of the New Kingdom, he ruled Egypt from 1279 BC to 1213 BC. And here are some tourists checking out the Temple of Ramesses. Yes, Pharaoh Ramesses II was a real person from history that was stated in the first book of the Bible, Genesis. Don't believe he existed? Well, then take a trip to Egypt and see for yourself. Fact number 2. Pharaoh Tirachah. This was written down in 2 Kings 19 verse 9. And also Isaiah chapter 37 verse 9. This massive statue shows Tirachah standing under the protection of a ram. The granite sculpture, dating to about 675 BC, was found at Karnak, near Luxor in Egypt. Tirachah was celebrated as the last pharaoh of the 25th Egyptian dynasty, ruling between 689 to 664 BC. This statue is housed at the British Museum. And here's a smaller granite statue of King Tirachah. This is also housed at the British Museum. Fact number 3. Pharaoh Hopra. He can be found in Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 30. Pharaoh Hopra also goes by the Greek name Apries. He reigned as king of Egypt from 589 to 570 BC. Here is the statue of Pharaoh Hopra. This is housed at the Louvre Museum in France if you would like to see it in person. Fact number 4. Pharaoh Necho. This was written in 2 Chronicles chapter 35, verse 20. Necho was the king of the 26th dynasty of Egypt, 610 to 595 BC. He played a significant role in the histories of the Assyrian Empire, Babylonia, and the Kingdom of Judah. This kneeling statue of Necho is housed at the Brooklyn Museum. Fact number 5. The Merneptah Stele. Israel as a people can be found all throughout the Bible. Genesis chapter 47, verse 27 shows just that. Merneptah was a pharaoh who ruled over Egypt in the late 13th century BC. The Merneptah Stele is the name given to this huge stone slab engraved with a description of Merneptah's military victories in Africa and the Near East. It was discovered by renowned British archaeologist Flinders Petrie at Thebes, Egypt in 1896. Why was the Merneptah Stele a significant archaeological discovery? Many skeptics say that the people of Israel never existed. That's why this is so significant to biblical archaeologists, because it is the earliest non-biblical reference to the nation of Israel yet to be discovered. Because it remains the earliest known non-biblical reference to the nation of Israel, the Merneptah Stele is also commonly known as the Israel Stele. It is currently housed in the Cairo Museum in Egypt. Fact number 6. King Sargon II of Assyria. Sargon II was king of Assyria and reigned from 722 to 705 BC. This relief was from the wall of the palace of Sargon II. And here is a closer view of the king. This relief is currently housed at the British Museum. And this piece is called the Winged Bull, also discovered at the Palace of Sargon. This is housed at the Louvre Museum. And here is the Sargon vase, a glass jar belonging to Sargon II. This is housed at the British Museum. Fact number 7. King Sennacherib of Assyria. He can be found in 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 36. Here are King Sennacherib's annals. The annals are important, for they describe his siege of Jerusalem during the reign of King Hezekiah. These 3 clay prisms are all inscribed with nearly identical text. The Taylor Prism is in the British Museum. The Oriental Institute Prism is in the Oriental Institute of Chicago. And the Jerusalem Prism is in the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. Fact number 8. King Shalmaneser of Assyria. This was written down in 2 Kings chapter 17 verse 3 and also 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 9. Here is the stele of Shalmaneser III, circa 852 BC. This artifact mentions the Quar battle. This was discovered in 1861 by a British archaeologist, John George Taylor. Shalmaneser III came to the throne of Assyria in 859 BC and reigned until 824 BC. He was the first Assyrian king to go to war with Israel. This is housed at the British Museum. Fact number 9. King Nebuchadnezzar. He can be found in 2 Kings chapter 24 verse 1. King Nebuchadnezzar, 605 BC to 562 BC, is perhaps the best known ruler of Babylon. He is famous for his conquest of Judah and Jerusalem. his monumental buildings within his capital of Babylon, and his role in the book of Daniel. So what proof do we have that he ever existed? We have no less than 18 cylinders of Nebuchadnezzar. These recorded the building and reconstruction works he did in and around Babylon. These are all housed at various museums around the world. Fact number 10. Nebo-Sarshoshim. He can be found in Jeremiah chapter 39, verse 3. Nebo-Sarshoshim was one of the generals of the king of Babylon. This small tablet was discovered in an excavation in 1920 at the ancient Babylonian city of Sippar, just 22 miles southwest of the capital of Iraq. It is currently housed at the British Museum. Fact number 11. King Esarhaddon. This was written in Ezra chapter 4, verse 2. Esarhaddon was a king of Assyria who reigned from 681 to 669 BC. Here is a plaque showing the king with his queen. This is currently housed at the Louvre Museum. And this small stone monument records the restoration of the walls and the temples of the city of Babylon by King Esarhaddon. This is housed at the British Museum. Fact number 12. King Mesha of Moab. This was written down in 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 4. The Mesha stele, also known as the Moabite stone, is an inscribed stone set up around 840 BC by King Mesha of Moab. It was discovered in 1868, about 20 miles east of the Dead Sea. This is currently housed at the Louvre Museum. Fact number 13. King Uzziah of Judah. This is found in Amos chapter 1, verse 1. Here is the Uzziah tablet. This was discovered in 1931 by Professor Sukenik of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. The inscription on the tablet is translated, "Hither were brought the bones of Uzziah, king of Judah, not to be opened." The Uzziah tablet is housed at the Israel Museum. Fact number 14. King Hezekiah of Judah. He can be found in Isaiah chapter 38, verse 9. Also, in 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 20, it says, "And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah, and all his might, and how he made a pool and a conduit." A conduit is also known as a channel or a tunnel, and brought water into the city. Here is Hezekiah's tunnel in Jerusalem, discovered in 1838 by the American biblical scholar Edward Robinson. It can be walked through today from end to end. Don't believe that this tunnel exists? You can take a trip there and buy tickets and walk through the tunnel yourself. Fact number 15. Solomon's city of Tadmor. This was written down in 2 Chronicles chapter 8, verses 3 and 4. The city that Solomon built, Tadmor, also known as Palmyra, was in ancient times an important city of central Syria. Today, ruins of Tadmor still exist. Fact number 16. Dagon, god of the Philistines. This was written down in Judges chapter 16, verse 23. Dagon was the chief deity of the Philistines, and the worship of this pagan god dates back to the 3rd millennium BC. According to ancient legends, Dagon was the father of Baal. He was a fish god, and he was represented as a half-man, half-fish creature. I find it very strange that popes wear a Dagon-style fish hat. Don't you? Fact number 17. King David. The House of David inscription. King David can be found in 2 Samuel chapter 5 verse 3. And the mention of the House of David can be found in 1 Samuel chapter 20 verse 16. King David was the second king of Israel and successor to King Saul. There are many skeptics that say that King David never existed, and that's why this biblical discovery has caused so much excitement. The Tel Dan stele has an inscription that shows the first historical evidence of King David from the Bible. The Tel Dan stele has a line of text that says, "The House of David," which matches up to what it says in 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 16. This was discovered in 1993 at the site of Tel Dan in northern Israel. The king who erected this stele in the mid-8th century BC claims to have defeated the king of Israel and the king of the House of David. It is currently housed at the Israel Museum. Fact number 18. King Cyrus of Persia. He can be found in Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. The Cyrus cylinder is an ancient clay cylinder on which is written a declaration in the name of Persia's King Cyrus the Great. It dates from the 6th century BC and was discovered in the ruins of Babylon in Mesopotamia, which is modern Iraq, in 1879. It is currently housed at the British Museum. Fact number 19. The city of Megiddo. This can be found in 1 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 29 and also Judges chapter 1 verse 27. Megiddo was a city mentioned in the Bible, and here is the proof that it was and is still a real place. Here is the Megiddo excavation site. And here is an aerial view of Megiddo. Here are some pictures with tourists visiting the Megiddo National Park. That's right, it's a national park. Fact number 20. The Dead Sea Scrolls. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in a remote desert cave in 1947 is widely considered the greatest archaeological event of the 20th century. The remains of hundreds of ancient scrolls were found. These fragile pieces of parchment and papyrus, including the oldest existing copies of the Hebrew Bible, were preserved for 2,000 years by the hot, dry desert climate and the darkness of the caves where they were placed. The scrolls provide an unprecedented picture of the diverse religious beliefs of ancient Judaism and of the daily life during the turbulent Second Temple period when Jesus lived and preached. Fragments of every book of the Hebrew Bible, except the book of Esther, were found in the Qumran caves. Remarkably, many of these ancient copies are identical to the traditional text of the Hebrew Bible that is used today. And this is the reason why this is such an amazing archaeological discovery. Here is a display of the Dead Sea Scrolls at the Israel Museum. So, there are 20 undeniable facts proving that the Old Testament is a true historical book and a true part of our history. Now, let's look at 20 facts for the New Testament. Fact number 21. Augustus Caesar. This was written down in Luke chapter 2, verse 1. This is a statue of Augustus Caesar, the first emperor of ancient Rome. The statue was discovered at the villa formerly owned by Augustus's third wife near Rome. This is housed at the Vatican Museum in Rome. And here is an Augustus Caesar coin. This is housed at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. To all you skeptics out there, if Augustus Caesar wasn't a real historical person, then why would they make statues and coins for currency after him? Fact number 22. Tiberius Caesar. This was written down in Luke chapter 3, verse 1. Tiberius Caesar was the Roman emperor at the time of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Tiberius reigned for 23 years, from 14 to 37 AD. This bust of Tiberius is from the Louvre Museum in Paris. Fact number 23. Pontius Pilate. He can be found in Matthew chapter 27, verse 2. Also in Luke chapter 3, verse 1. This might be the most important discovery of this entire list, and I will tell you why in just a moment. Here is the Pontius Pilate inscription, discovered in the archaeological site of Caesarea in 1961. Pontius Pilate was the 5th Roman prefect of Judea, appointed to that office by Tiberius in 26 AD. Pilate was in Jerusalem during Passover when Jesus was arrested and put on trial, and it was Pilate who pronounced the death sentence for Jesus. This inscription confirms Pontius Pilate's historical existence. It describes him as prefect of Judea. This is currently located at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. This bronze coin, issued by Pontius Pilate between 26 and 36 AD, are of special interest to Christians because of his connection with Jesus Christ. The evidence of his coinage in the Pilate inscription found at Caesarea reveals that Pontius Pilate was a real historical figure. So this is why these discoveries are so important. There are so many critics out there that say that Jesus Christ never existed. Well, Pontius Pilate existed, and he was the one who gave Jesus his death sentence. So if Jesus never existed, who did Pontius give a death sentence to? Some make-believe guy? Don't you think they would have labeled Pontius as crazy and locked him up for trying to give a death sentence to a made-up person? So to all you critics out there, you can't have it both ways. Either Pontius and Jesus were both real people, or they were both fake. But the archaeology findings prove that Pontius was a real person. Therefore, Jesus was a real person. Fact number 24. Caiaphas the high priest. This can be found in Matthew chapter 26, verse 3. In December of 1990, an exciting discovery hit the world of biblical archaeology. In Jerusalem's Peace Forest, a 1st century ossuary, or bone box, was discovered. Inscribed on the ossuary were the words Yehoseph bar Caiaphas, translated as Joseph, son of Caiaphas. This is currently housed at the Israel Museum. Fact number 25. King Herod. He can be found in Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. King Herod, otherwise known as Herod the Great, was a Roman king of Judea from 37 BC to 4 BC. King Herod's most significant architectural achievement no longer exists in its intact state, though its existence and appearance are well attested by ancient historians, and remnants of its past can still be seen. I'm talking about the Temple of Herod. The temple was a vast building project that enlarged the Temple Mount platform in Jerusalem. And here is a coin of King Herod. Fact number 26. Herod Antipas. This was written down in Luke chapter 9, verse 9. and this shows that King Herod beheaded John the Baptist. Herod reigned from 6 AD to 29 AD and was remembered most for the imprisonment and beheading of John the Baptist. Here is a coin of Herod Antipas. Fact number 27. King Aretas IV. This was written down in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 32. Aretas IV was the king of the Nabateans from roughly 9 BC to 40 AD. His daughter was married to and divorced from Herod Antipas, who we just talked about. Herod then married his brother's wife, Herodias. It was opposition to this marriage that led to the beheading of John the Baptist. Fact number 28. Crucifixion. The Yehohanan ossuary. Matthew chapter 27 verse 38 mentions crucifixion. The word crucified is found 37 times in the Bible, yet many critics doubt that the crucifixion method was used during biblical times. Yehohanan was a man put to death by crucifixion in the 1st century AD, whose ossuary was found in 1968 when building contractors working in a Jewish neighborhood in East Jerusalem accidentally uncovered a Jewish bone box. The Jewish stone ossuary had the Hebrew inscription, Yehohanan, the son of Hagkal. This is currently housed at the Israel Museum. And here is the amazing part. The ossuary contained a heel bone with a nail driven through its side. The nail had olive wood on it, indicating that he was crucified on a cross made of olive wood or on an olive tree. This is solid evidence that crucifixion was used back in those times. This is also housed at the Israel Museum. Fact number 29. Claudius Caesar. He can be found in Acts chapter 18, verse 2. Claudius was the Roman emperor from 41 AD to 54 AD. Here is a bust of Claudius housed at the Naples National Museum. And a coin of Claudius. Hopefully all the critics at this point are scratching their heads and saying, "This sure is a lot of facts proving the Bible is a true historical book. Hey, maybe I was wrong about the Bible." Fact number 30. Nero Claudius Caesar. This was written in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 22. Nero Claudius Caesar was the 5th and last Roman emperor of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. He reigned from 54 AD to 68 AD. This bust of Nero is housed at the Capitol Museum in Rome. And here is the bust and a coin of Nero Caesar. Fact number 31. The Sea of Galilee boat. The Bible tells us that Peter was a fisherman. The Bible also tells us that they fished on the Sea of Galilee. This is an ancient Galilee boat. It is a fishing boat dated to the 1st century AD, discovered in 1986 on the northwest shore of the Sea of Galilee in Israel. So, the Bible states that people fished on the Sea of Galilee, and in 1986, a boat was found exactly at that location, dated to the 1st century AD. That's pretty solid evidence, wouldn't you agree? The boat was discovered during a drought when the waters of the sea receded. The boat is on display in a special climatized museum hall. Fact number 32. Antonius Felix of Judea. This was written in Acts chapter 23, verse 24. Marcus Antonius Felix was the ancient Roman governor of the Judea province from 52 AD to 60 AD. The period of his rule was marked by internal feuds, disturbances, and increased crime. Here is a bronze coin minted by Antonius. Fact number 33, the Decapolis. This can be found in Mark chapter 5, verse 20. Decapolis is derived from the Greek word meaning 10 cities. The Decapolis was a 10-city Greco-Roman federation occupying all of northeastern Palestine. Here are some ruins of Decapolis that still remain today. Fact number 34, the Temple of Castor and Pollux. This was written in Acts chapter 28, verse 11. The Temple of Castor and Pollux is an ancient edifice in the Roman Forum, central Italy. It was originally built in gratitude for victory at the Battle of Lake Regillus, 495 BC. Fact number 35, the Gallio inscription. This can be found in Acts chapter 18, verse 12. The Gallio inscription is the name given to this collection of 9 fragments of a letter written by the Roman Emperor Claudius in 52 AD. The fragments were found in Delphi, near the Temple of Apollo in Greece, in 1905. In the Gallio inscription, the emperor describes the sad situation in Delphi in the 1st century AD, when there were no more citizens living in the city. 4 fragments of limestone mentions Gallio. The inscription dates to the year 52 AD. This is currently housed in Athens, Greece. Fact number 36, Sergius Paulus inscription. He can be found in Acts chapter 13, verse 7. In 1877, an inscription was found near Paphos, the capital of Cyprus, bearing the name and title of Sergius Paulus. This is currently being housed at the Yalvac Museum in Turkey. Fact number 37, the city of Thessalonica. This city can be found in Acts chapter 17, verse 1. The city of Thessalonica was founded in 315 BC by King Cassander of Macedon. An important metropolis by the Roman period, Thessalonica was the second largest and wealthiest city of the Byzantine Empire. It was conquered by the Ottomans in 1430 and remained an important seaport. Fact number 38, the city of Capernaum. This can be found in John chapter 6, verse 59, and Matthew chapter 4, verse 13. Capernaum was a large Galilean fishing village and busy trading center. This place is of special interest to Christians because of its frequent mention in the history of Jesus Christ. If any of you skeptics would like to see the ruins of Capernaum for yourselves, you can book a tour anytime you like. Fact number 39, the city of Bethlehem. The city of Bethlehem is mentioned 51 times in the Bible, and it is most famous for being the birthplace of Jesus Christ. The city still remains today. Fact number 40, the city of Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem is mentioned 767 times in the Bible. So to all you skeptics, do you think the writers of the Bible all teamed up and made up this city, since you guys believe the Bible is a fairy tale? This would be impossible for 2 reasons. First, the writers of the Bible all lived during different time periods, so they couldn't have teamed up to fake it. And second, the city is still there. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. 40 archaeological facts proving that the Bible is a true historical book. I have presented to you overwhelming evidence such as pharaohs, kings, granite steels, reliefs, palace walls, vases, prisms, cylinders, tablets, bone boxes, tunnels, ruins, scrolls, boats, statues, coins, and many cities. If you are a Christian and already believe the Bible is true, then I hope you enjoyed this presentation and it will help strengthen your belief in the Bible. And if you are a skeptic of the Bible, what else do you want? The facts are all right here in front of your own eyes, and they are undeniable. The 40 people that wrote the Bible recorded all these words in the verses that I've just shown you, and the evidence that has been discovered backs up and proves what they wrote down. The writers of the Bible wrote about real people, real places, and real artifacts from real life. So thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please share this video with your friends and family to help spread the truth of Jesus Christ. God bless, and I will see you next time.